Okay, we're here with the amazing Ed Gonzales to talk about his journey through the Win Her Back in 8 Weeks program. And Ed went through the program a little more than 2 years ago. And I wanted to take just a moment and talk about his experience. And so, Ed, please introduce yourself and really quickly, please tell us about the results that you got in my program.
Okay, yeah, my name is Ed Gonzales. I'm in Texas, and I was married for like 20. I've been married for 21 years. Be 22 this coming March. I guess back in 2017 or 17, December 2017, my wife, hit me with the question, gave me the I love you, but not in love with you anymore speech. It really took me back, and and basically, during that piece of time, I went through different things and, did some search and found your program, and it really worked, and I could honestly say outside the first 4 years of marriage, obviously everybody's in the honeymoon stage, you know what I mean? But that's the last 2 years since completing the program has been the best of my marriage, since then, it really has. Things are great. I mean, it's just awesome. Couldn't ask for a better result and didn't imagine the results being this good when I first started the program.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And you know what? That's amazing. And I want to just take a minute and tell you that I honor you for doing that work. And so can you let us know, like, where you were in your marriage, like when all this started?
Well, just like most gentlemen, and I did all the research after I got hit with the call. I thought I was in a good part of my marriage. It was literally a shock when I came home and she told me that. I was like, what the hell's going on, and, I mean, it's to the point where then, we talked after she said that. I took some time of what the heck I need to be doing. And after that point in time, we took a mini type of vacation, around Christmas time, and nothing's changed, and I busted I busted my butt for the first 2 weeks trying to figure it out. And about mid-January, she said, no, I don't know. I want to go ahead and go with the divorce. And then we have 2 kids. They were 8 at the time, twins. And, I said, okay, well, I asked her, I said, well, can we just at least wait until the kids finish school? I don't want to interrupt their school while they were doing this process. And she agreed to do that. At that point in time, I said in my mind, all right, I got, 5 months or 6 months to fix this, you know what I mean, to get her where she's not wanting a divorce. That's the point when I was doing research, reading books, anything, what's most of us do. We're men, we're survivors. When somebody tells us that, what do? We fix things. Let's go fix it, So we start pulling out the toolbox, trying to fix things, and things wasn't getting fixed. It wasn't everything I thought or was taught to do as a kid or whatever, or as a man, and wasn't working. So that's where it was at. Then when I started doing the research and did a couple of, and I found you guys, then I was like, okay, and then started the process.
And we all know why it's so important to save your marriage, but I wanted to ask you, what was it for you? What was like that number one reason?
With kids, man, to be honest, I didn't want my kids. They're 8, 9, I have twins, and I have kids late in life, you know what I mean? And that was the positive. I always thought when my first son was born, he's now 28, 29 now when we're younger, and he's I worked. I did the man thing. I worked. I joined the company, and I traveled, and I didn't make a ball game, wasn't there. My job was to work and provide for my family. And then when he grew up, I realized what I missed. And I truly believe God gave me twins and later in my life. And now it's like every day was spending time. And that's another thing I did with this. I was involved in school and baseball games, volleyball games, and anything I could do. And I put so much intention in these kids that I realized I forgot my marriage, and a lot of us do that, and I didn't realize that until the end. And then, so then what happened was when we got to the point where, I looked at my kids, I said, I don't want my kids to be raised by somebody else. I mean, that's reality. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't want my kids to not have me, and I just don't want that. So that was my biggest motivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And so do you remember the first thing I told you to do, and did you think it would work?
Yeah, you told me to do the texting. I text, every day, 3 texts, and it did. Honestly, it's the gratification men, how we are. I didn't get a response. You said it. You're not going to get a response. Don't look for instant gratification. But we're sitting there doing the work, and I'm doing the work, and 2-3 weeks. It took about 3 weeks for me texting every day for her to finally respond to one of my texts. It was just a simple thank you. I'm like, holy shit, after that day. And there's times in the process, guys, and I'll tell you, you're thinking this shit ain't working. God dang, I can't do this. And you're fighting with yourself, and your mind is like in your teaching. Your mind is your worst enemy. Your mind tells you shit that ain't really happening. You know what I mean? And So that's what happened. And then once we started the process and started the little wins, it started helping. Yeah, the main reason was the kids.
Yeah, awesome. And so what happened right away? Like right after you started? Like when was it 3 weeks that you first started noticing a difference? Were there any other differences?
Yeah, I mean, it was up and gone. One day he would be coming, I'd come home, and she would be great. I'm like, okay, it's working. Next day she'd be different, and that's what they're teaching. You know what I mean? It's like, it is up and down. It's like that in the first process because she doesn't trust you. And I really realized now she's not trust. She thinks you're playing a game. It's like I use this story a lot to a couple of friends of mine. Because they say it, and I used to say it. Man, my wife, talk about sex. My wife doesn't give me sex like she used to, and I'm like. She'll say, oh, if you would clean up the house more, if you do more around the house, and then I would do it. And then they all go do it. And then the first thing they say is, yes, she lied. She didn't do it. And it's the same process you learn. It's like they're not looking for a one-time thing. You do it one time, you're expecting the prize. And it's like, no, they're telling you the path that you need to do it all the time. And once it happens, and it has happened to me, I mean, the sex is regularly, and the sex the last 2 years, like I said, is regularly. It's not. And honestly, like I said, the first 4 years of our marriage, that whole gap in between hasn't been regularly. It's been like, come on, negotiate. And I feel like I'm damn, trying to negotiate and get what I felt like we all married to get. You know what I mean? So that's just reality. So yeah, once it started, and I will tell you guys, it's a process. I mean, please stay in the process. It took her a long time to get her heart frozen or get her cold towards you. And you're not just going to break it with just 2 or 3 or 4 weeks work. You know what I mean? After you work it, and even after the 8 weeks, it's you keep working the program, you keep working what you learn, and you keep knowledge. And one thing that you teach us is knowledge. Get that knowledge and don't just go somewhere and get it. Go everywhere and get it. That's what I've done. And I really feel like every time that we've been like 2 years since I completed the program, and I feel like it's slipping in. If I feel like I'm going back into my old ways, I can't go back to the teachings. It's, okay, this is not acceptable. And I don't. And the funny thing at the beginning, I was always blaming her for everything. We're not having sex because she don't want to have sex. We're not doing this because of her. She's not ready on time. It's all that crap that we tell ourselves, and it's probably true in one part, but we forget what we stopped doing. And that was the deal. And I remember our conversations. We've all had them. How come you don't like this no more? And she'll say, oh, you're not the same. And you're like, well, I'm the damn same. I know I haven't changed. Well, yeah, you have. You know what I mean? And you don't realize it. And that's what I was like. I remember that. I say, what did I do with her dating that I didn't do, 4 or 5 years after the marriage? I didn't take the time and take her out. I didn't drop everything for her. Those little things is what killed it. It wasn't the big things. It wasn't like I was out. That was a thing I would tell myself. I'm not out cheating. I'm not out drunk. I'm not in a bar. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not beating my wife. I'm not beating my kids. So my first thing is, well, if I'm not doing this shit, what the hell's the problem? It's got to be her. I'm a great guy. But then you forget of, like I said, the little things. And once you start doing the little things again, it's just awesome. Like I said the other day, I was telling a buddy of mine, I was like, we was a big football guy, so football season's coming, we're a big college guy mostly, so we're watching a big game, and my wife's like, hey, I feel like an icy. And I'm like, right before the game starts, we have friends and family over. I'm like, okay. She didn't ask me to go get her icy. She just, man, I feel like one. I waited about 15 minutes after, but the play was dead. I jumped in my car and went and got her an icy and brought it back to her. Boom, that was it, man. That's what, and I said to myself, that's what I would have done when I dated her. Even though I was a big football kid when I dated her, but my goal was to try to get with her. And my goal was to do everything I can to swooze her, make her feel special. And I did things like that. And then I realized I wasn't doing it anymore. Like I said the other day, I would drive by, I can remember laughing, we'd drive right by a damn 7-Eleven. We're on the same car. We're in no hurry to go nowhere. Oh, I love an icy. And we don't have time for that, and I would keep on driving. Before I would say, stop, and those are the little things I realized. And sure enough, it's like that. I come home, I get an icy that night, didn't expect nothing. She's initiating sex like she used to. You know what I mean? It's like
right there.
Boom. She's doing it. I'm not the only one. The things I've been asking her to do for 5 or 6 years, can you ever just initiate every once in a while? You know what I mean? The things I asked her to do, she was doing it because I was doing it for her. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So the big takeaway is here that it's absolutely possible to save your marriage, even when your wife has given up. And she gives you that, that dreaded phrase that so many of us have heard, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And so
Right.
there's no magic bullet. It takes a tremendous amount of hard work and doing those little things. Like when you start from the wrong place and you do them the wrong way, so often she looks at you and she's like, I need space. That's weak and pathetic. Stop begging me for love. And it's like those guys you're talking about, they run out and they do the honey-do list and they wash her car and they do all that stuff. But because of how they're treating her, she doesn't know how to receive it in a way that really makes her feel loved. She, like you said earlier, she receives it in a way where she thinks that you're just trying to trick her or manipulate her into, not wanting to get divorced or to have more sex. And so the thing is like knowing exactly how to stop making that worse and knowing exactly how to make it better with a proven plan and a system and a method that makes sure that you're staying in a positive direction that makes your marriage actually stronger every day and not weaker, then that's priceless. And once you get that platform, and like you talked about that wall around her heart, once you actually break through and you find the keys inside yourself, they're going to unlock it. Now, all of a sudden, you start doing that stuff, and now she sees it as sweet and charming and loving and romantic, and she feels safe and protected. And so basically, you plug in, you do the work, you follow the system, and you get the results. So is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, the biggest thing I'll tell you is this, your wife wants you. Your wife wants you to fix yourself. A lot of times when she said that thing, it's like all the years of the little hints she would drop that I didn't do. Like I said, the little things that they really want from us. And they don't want my wife, I'm an alpha male. I own my own business. That's how I am. She doesn't, when I started, like when she first told me that, I went to, let me clean the house, let me fucking do the laundry, let me cook every night. That's not what she was looking for. She wasn't looking for me to be I was not that person when she met me. She wanted to be the man, the king, as you say, of the house. And that's what she wanted. But she wanted me to love her and to treat her as the queen. And that's the deal. Not go and do the dishes every night, not cook. That's her job. And she was okay with that, but she's like, hey, if you see me struggling, jump in there. And I don't have to ask you to jump in there. You know what I mean? I jump in there now. It's like she does the little things that she does or that your wife will do. Your tells, if she leaves something on the stairs, that's your cue to pick the damn thing up, bring it upstairs. Before I was like, damn, why are you not, what the hell? Why didn't you bring it up the rest of the stairs, honey? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I almost tripped over this. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. So that was the thing I'd say, guys. Your wife really wants you, the person she married, the person you promised. That's what she's looking for. And I think after long our marriage, you go through your life routine and you forget that. And you do take her for granted. You're not intentionally taking her for granted, but you do. And women are different than men. They want you to be the boss. They don't want to take over the damn house. They don't want a damn, do boy. That's not what you've done. They want somebody who's going to be the king of their house, and that's it. They want you to raise their kids right. And they want you to be the person you promised you'd be when you asked her to marry her. That's all they're looking for.
Well, okay, Ed, thank you so much for this interview and for being the man. And look, you're amazing, and I look forward to your future success. And there was just one more question that I wanted to ask, and that is, like, when you were considering the investment to work with me in this program, like, what really pushed you over the edge and gave you the confidence to go ahead and do that?
Well, the thing is, I wanted to fix it. And as I told you earlier, we're men, so we're fixers. At this point in time, it's like, you always hear that joke, we never asked for directions. You know what I mean? At this point in time, I was doing all my own research. I was reading books. I was reading everything I possibly could, and at this point in time, I didn't see any light. And I'm like, okay, I need a coach to fix it. You know what I mean? And I looked for coaches, and I did. I did little interviews with your group and a few other groups. When you go on and start searching like everybody else knows, you start getting feeds in your Facebook and feeds on all over everything. They know what you're looking for, and you start getting bombarded with stuff. So I did like 3 or 4 interviews with different type of companies like this, and I just felt the connection here. I like this was Christian based, and I like that, and I felt like this was the right one for me, and that's why. The investment piece, it kind of even says, I think you even said it before. The investment is nothing compared to a divorce. If you're going to get a divorce, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than your investment. And like I said, if I invest this and it works, it's the best investment I've ever had. If it doesn't work, I've wasted more money on stupid shit. You know what I mean? Than this stuff. So, it's kind of to the point where what's important to you. But yeah, I'd spend it again if I have to. We're fixers. We got to do it. The divorce is really not good. It's not good for your kids. And even if you don't have kids, it's not good. You know what I mean? Because even if your kids are older and, it's just not good. You know what I mean? Not in this world. We need to be with our kids.
Yeah, and for any man watching, I just want you to know that these results are very possible. And for the majority, if you got the majority of stuff in your life working, and that's an important point. It's like if everything's falling apart, then it's probably not going to work for you. But if the majority of stuff is working and the thing that's holding you back is your marriage, then this is infinitely possible. And so that's all I got. And Ed, I just can't thank you enough. And just so proud of you and much respect.
So proud of you.
Thank you, man. You too, brother.
Much respect.
Thank you, man. You too, brother.